All right, let's dive into this explainer and completely reframe how we view the intense, pull your hair out frustration of learning something new. Because, we have all been there, right? You're highly motivated, you sit down to learn, and suddenly your brain just feels like it's grinding gears.
Think about a time you tried to master a really complex coding language, or maybe nail a particularly difficult guitar riff, and you just wanted to slam your laptop shut or literally throw your instrument across the room. That overwhelming urge to quit, it's completely universal. But traditionally, we've always looked at this sensation as a bad thing. We think it's a sign that, maybe we just aren't cut out for whatever we're trying to do.
But here's the massive paradigm shift. That specific sensation of friction, it isn't failure at all. Actually, it's the exact biological green light your brain needs to kick off neuroplasticity. That intense feeling of mental strain is a required trigger for your brain to change. It's not a stop sign, it's the starting gun.
So here is how we're breaking it all down in today's explainer. First, we'll look at the friction paradigm shift and then jump into the science of struggle. After that, I'll walk you through a 3-step method, the friction shift, intermittent reinforcement, and the downregulation reset. Finally, we'll wrap up with embracing the learning wall. Let's get into it. Starting with Section 1, the friction paradigm shift, and how we start rewarding the struggle.
What is absolutely fascinating here is the sheer power of deliberate micro-failures. See, most people just stop the exact moment they make a mistake. But if you deliberately induce these micro-failures during practice, you are chemically unlocking doors in your brain. This friction gates acetylcholine and dopamine, basically making sure your brain stays in this state of high alert readiness, actively remodeling its neural circuits. So pushing right into failure literally shortens the time it takes to master any new skill. It's a total game changer. Moving on to Section 2, the science of struggle, where we look under the hood at the chemistry of effort.
First up is epinephrine. Now, you probably know this better as adrenaline. That intense, heated frustration you feel, that agitation that makes you want to just get up and walk away from your desk, that's actually your body releasing epinephrine. It isn't telling you to stop. It's actively gearing you up, physically and mentally, to tackle a hard task by massively increasing your alertness.
Next up, we have dopamine. And listen, we really have to unteach this popular, kind of pop psychology idea that dopamine is just a shiny reward you get at the finish line. It's not. It's a neuromodulator that dictates your craving, your drive, your pursuit. Think of it like the gas for your brain's engine. It dictates your willingness to push through effort. And when this dopamine is coupled with that epinephrine we just talked about, wow, it triggers a seriously powerful Plasticity Super Protocol.
And that brings us to our highly actionable 3-step science-backed protocol so you can actually leverage your prefrontal cortex. This is how you take the wheel and control those chemicals. Step 1 is the friction shift, Step 2 is intermittent reinforcement, and Step 3 is the down-regulation reset.
Let's hit Section 3. Step 1, the friction shift, which is all about changing the reward.
To understand why this works, there's this really famous Stanford study we need to look at. Researchers observed these nursery school children who just naturally loved to draw for the pure intrinsic joy of it. But when the researchers started giving them gold stars as a reward for their drawings, something crazy happened. When those gold stars were eventually taken away, the kids actually stopped wanting to draw on their own. They had completely disassociated the pleasure from the activity itself and attached it entirely to that external reward.
So, to avoid that trap and actually accelerate your learning, you have to use your highly evolved forebrain to rationally assign meaning. I know it sounds a little out there, but you literally have to tell yourself in those moments of deep struggle, okay, this effort is the good part. This frustration, that's the feeling of my brain changing. You are subjectively convincing yourself that the friction is the reward. And the cool part, this intentional thought actually evokes a dopamine release right inside the effort, giving you immediate, usable energy to just keep pushing.
All right, Section 4 is Step 2, intermittent reinforcement, or how to randomize your rewards. Think about a casino for a second. How do they keep people gambling even when they're losing money? You can keep your brain highly motivated in the exact same way by making the external rewards for your learning unpredictable. A casino keeps you glued to the table because your brain is constantly trying to guess when the payoff will hit, and that locks you into a state of deep, focused pursuit.
The beauty is you can engineer this yourself. Before a study session, just flip a coin. By occasionally removing external rewards, like listening to your favorite playlist or drinking a high-caffeine energy drink, you prevent yourself from needing more and more stimulation just to get started. So heads, you get the music. Tails, you work in total silence. It's so simple, but this act of randomizing your rewards keeps your dopamine baseline healthy, balanced, and responsive.
Moving to Section 5, our final step, the downregulation reset for consolidating memory.
Now, please pay attention here because this is a massive pitfall for most of us. Once you finish a high-friction learning bout, do not immediately grab your phone to check social media. By jumping straight from learning into a high-stimulation activity, you're layering your dopamine. And that unnatural spike basically guarantees your motivation is going to crash hard later in the day. You have to let the system cool off. So, instead of reaching for the phone, take just 3 to 5 minutes to do some exhale-emphasized breathing. Basically, you just want to breathe out for twice as long as you breathe in. For example, inhale for 3 seconds and slowly exhale for 6. It's that easy.
And here is exactly why that 2-to-1 breathing ratio matters. All that mental friction we talked about created a state of high alert pursuit. But this specific breathing pattern physically sends a safety signal directly to your nervous system. It tells your body, okay, the threat is gone, seamlessly allowing your brain to transition out of pursuit mode and drop into the relaxed state where the actual learning and memory consolidation happens. It's like saving the file you just worked on.
Finally, Section 6, embracing the learning wall, because the struggle really is the path. We've got to stop avoiding the struggle, folks. The struggle isn't standing in the way of the path. It literally is the path. That frustrating wall is actually your biological sweet spot for neuroplasticity. So lean into it. When you feel that intense mental grinding, reward the effort internally. If you make this a habit, I promise you, you're going to be blown away by how fast you can actually learn and adapt. So now that you're armed with the Plasticity Super Protocol, which skill are you going to tackle today using the immense power of friction? Will it be learning a new language? Finally picking up that musical instrument? Or maybe grinding out a tough professional certification? Embrace the wall, lean right into the agitation, and ask yourself what kind of mastery is waiting for you on the exact other side of that frustration.